Hey everybody, Boxing Bow here again today. This is breadlie carpet I got. It's absolutely beautiful breadlie. I got it from Stephen Katz at SBK Reptiles, and this one is the male Moses, and this one just shed out. And just look at these colors, just beautiful red. And this is actually I've heard they can go through some winter colors, but this one is just really staying really nice. I'm trying to show you the whole pattern. It's just got a very ornate pattern that's just very beautiful. It's got some cool little spotting up here on its neck. It's not stonewalls or anything like that. It's just a gorgeous breadlie. I'm trying to get you guys a good close-up of it. Hopefully that catches the lighting. You can really see the reds and oranges that are in this, and the blacks that are just absolutely incredible. Definitely one of my favorite species of morales to own. Just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely love them. They're just fantastic pets. And I mean, let me see if I can't get this head stamp to show up. Look at the facial patterns on this little girl. Sorry, she's moving around. She's like, no, I don't want to look at the camera that way. But just absolutely gorgeous. I can't get enough of this girl. One thing I do want to talk about is when you're breeding snakes, okay, and I see a lot of this is people try to guess, like, oh, they're pretty for sure this one's going to prove out. It might be a 66% hit or a 50% hit, and they try to guess, and there are telltale. On some morphs there can be signs, but one thing you got to think about is when you start adding layers, whether it's a codom, a recessive, anything like that, anything like that, you're going to change the appearance of that snake, okay? And so here I got Disciple with me. Now he's an ornery little boy. Now I do have him in a holding tub, okay? Now you guys probably saw my video about how to use a hook. If you are using a holding tub and you just don't want to reach right in there, here's a perfect way. Let him come on out. Once he starts to come out, I can go ahead and grab him, and he is completely fine to come on out. And I'll just go ahead and stick this one in this holding container real quick while he goes down here. And there we go. Holding containers are great to have, especially when you want to do cage cleaning and stuff like that. Now this guy is a pure Eringia or Papua New Guinea, 66% hit Axanthic. The breeder I got him from was Ed, but I believe he got this one from Eric Kohler. They do think it is going to prove out to be 100% hit. Now, why do they think that? Well, because of the color. He's got some really nice, silver, gray colors, great blushing, just little subtle signs like that. And, he looks different than your average Eringia / Papua New Guinea. You could just tell there's something more going on. But that does not guarantee anything. It is 66% hit. But why does that not guarantee, even though people think, oh yeah, for sure, and even me, I'm thinking, this boy should prove out to be 100% hit Axanthic. Because when you start adding layers, and he's only got one layer, okay? His only one extra layer is the recessive Axanthic gene in him, okay? But just by doing that, when you do that into a snake, it changes the dynamic, because you don't know how much of one snake is going to come off on the other one. We might say it's say you have say he was a cross, okay, or an intergrade. Say he was 50% coastal, 50% Eringia, right? Well, there's no guaranteed way. Genetic-wise, it should say 50-50, but it might take it might take more over the coastal. So you might get a little bit slightly bigger snake. It might have more of a coastal look to it. And on that way, if you follow what I'm tracking. Or it could go the opposite way. It could track more of the Eringia side and be smaller, have more blushings, not have just an overall, just a different look. And every baby is going to be different. You don't know, which allele that, or which line that animal is going to track. You have an idea, but until you have them, you just don't know. But going back to what I'm talking about, when you start adding layers, okay, and this is just one layer, it changes the whole dynamic of this Ehrengia. Just because of that one axanthic gene in there. And it was only 66% hit, but it changes the look of the snake. So when you start adding layer upon layer, say you got like my Motley Jungle, that's 100% hit for VPI, right? Okay, you look at that Motley Jungle that I've had, and I would bring them up, but I just didn't grab them for this video. And I'm not going to go run down and grab him or anything, because he just got done eating about 2 days ago, so I want to give him one more day, so I kind of want to hold off on that. I try to give him about 3 days to digest. I could do it, but just I'm not going to break my rule that way. But that Motley, he looks totally different. He's very silver, very light, very clean pattern. He's not like a jungle with these bright colors, even though he is a jungle because of the Motley. But he comes off as a silver, very light color. And why is that? Well, he's got the jungle gene in there, which cleans everything up and throws in, not only does it throw in, them funky saddles and patterns, but it also cleans them up and brightens them. So, even though he didn't get the, oranges and stuff, he got a very silver, bright pattern. Then you add the Motley gene in that, which is a codominant morph as well. And that also changes the saddle pattern. Most of you guys know what a Motley bow looks like. And then they tend to be a little bit darker, but he's not dark at all. And then you add the VPI gene in there, even though he's hit VPI, and that really lightens him up. So that really changes the dynamic of that boa. I see a lot of people sell pastel boas. I saw, for example, today, and they're not claiming it's a pastel boa, but I saw a beautiful Motley boa, 100% hit for call albino on Instagram today. That one was bred by Kid Play 007 James, and or is it Kid 007? Anyway, that one was bred by. And it's a gorgeous looking Motley, and a lot of people would assume that's a pastel Motley, but it's not. Because it's got the codominant gene, which is a Motley, and then you add that recessive gene of the boa in there, of the albino in there, not the boa, sorry, the albino gene in there, that changed the whole dynamic of that boa, and it almost looks like a pastel Motley. It's not. It's just a very clean, beautiful Motley boa that happens to be 100% hit for, a call albino. And so it changed the whole dynamic of that. So that way when you're buying hits, you try to look for signs that point towards it being this gene or that gene, especially on recessive. Codominants are different. It's instantaneous. If it's, for example, I have a fire Motley. I mean, not fire Motley. I have a female Motley that comes from a fire breeding. Now that's two codoms, right? And the cool thing is, instantly she's a Motley. The codom gene showed up in here. But the fire gene didn't. So she's not codominant for fire. So she's just a gorgeous Motley. That is, the whole dynamics on her has changed too because of that fire influence. Even though she's not hit for fire because she didn't get the fire gene, so she is not codominant. She's not a fire Motley. It did change the look on her. So it's easy to tell codoms right away if they got her or they don't. Sometimes it's a little harder when you start doing layer upon layer, especially in ball pythons and stuff. That can be really hard. In boas, it's much easier to figure out the layers you got. But the cool thing about these guys is, like, when you're working with recessives, it's a little bit harder, especially when it's 66% hit. Because I've seen some just absolutely gorgeous hits that look the part. That look like, yes, this is going to prove out to be 100% hit. They go to breed it, and it's not. And then they take the other ones from it that you don't think are going to be hit, and it's not. So when you buy a hit snake, whether it's a 66% hit, 50% hit, or 25% hit, you're just playing the lotto, okay? you're hoping that animal hits on this. So when you go to buy a hit, don't just go into buying that hit animal, especially not if it's different if it's 100% hit. But if you're looking to buy, like, get into a morph that's more expensive than you buy, and say you want to get, but yet the 66% hits are a little bit cheaper, okay? And you buy into that, knowing it's going to prove out, thinking it's going to prove out, the breeder says, oh yeah, for sure, this one should prove out. Don't be upset when it doesn't. You know, because you're buying a lottery ticket. You're hoping that scratch-off ticket wins. So when you're buying ones that are 66, 50%, or 25% hits, okay, don't just buy them for the hits, okay? Buy them for something else other than just being hit for, like, for example, this guy. That's possible hit for Azantic. I didn't just get this guy for the fact that he could prove out to be, you know, hit for the Azantic gene. If he doesn't prove out, that's no big deal to me. Why? Because I look at his side color, okay, and he's just got excellent blushing. I mean, he's just, look at this, like right in here. Let me see if I can't get him around. Look at this blushing. This is just absolutely gorgeous blushing. This animal is just, speaks to me with the blushing. And then the cool thing is, his pattern is just very interesting to me. You know, it's nice, big, and blocky side saddles that just blush all the way up or flame all the way up that are just absolutely gorgeous. He's also got this very cool looking just face that I just absolutely love. It's just a cool, I mean, look at these stripes going down the side of his eyes right here on the side of his face. It's just beautiful looking banding right there. I look at his belly and I just love the little markings on his stomach. That's just really neat. And then, like, I get down here and I really like this on him, okay? See that little side striping right there? I just think that's cool. That's not genetic or anything like that. I just think that's neat. So when I breed him to something, if he doesn't prove out, no big deal, because I'm going for the blushing in this animal that's there. The pattern that I like, the saddles that I like, the black outline that's on around here, around his saddles and stuff like that. So when I go to breed him, that's what I'm going for. And not only that, but I can also up the Eringia / Papua New Guinea that's in him into something else. So say I want to, oh, you're such a good looking boy. Say I want to add, say I take one of my carpets that need more Eringia. They have Eringia in them, but they can use just a little bit more, and that'll help refine it, clean it up, and make that animal pop for me. Boom, this guy can do it for me because it's a pure Eringia / Papua New Guinea. And so when I got this animal, I didn't just strictly buy him on the off chance he could be hit for Azantic. There was more to it. So when you're buying something that is 66%, 50%, 25% hit, like I said again, don't just buy it for that reason. Find other things in that animal that you are attracted to. That way, if he doesn't or she doesn't prove out, that's okay because you're further along other projects you're trying to work on. You know, and that's the problem. I see people buy these animals and thinking that this is for sure going to work out, and they get so mad when they're not. And it's like, okay, what was going through your mind then? If you bought that animal knowing you only had a 66% chance or less, what are you mad about? You got a beautiful animal that you can use. I've seen a lot of ball pythons too that are just absolutely gorgeous, that are only 66 and less % chance, but they're absolutely gorgeous, just gorgeous. And people get mad when they don't prove out, and it's like, what are you mad about? You know, if you bought an ugly snake, if you bought a snake that someone considers ugly, okay. Sorry, I love my water. But I see a lot of people buy a snake and they go, well, it's not the prettiest snake, but that's okay because it has a chance for being this. That's the wrong way to go about buying a chance snake, because you're already looking at the snake as being ugly or not what you want it to be, and you go ahead and buy it, and then you're mad. Now you're extra mad because now you spent all this time, effort, energy doing all these things to get that animal up to size, and now you're mad because it didn't prove out and it don't even look like you want it to look to begin with. So when you're going to buy something that is a percentage as far as being a hit, make sure you buy the animal for other things other than just being a hit. Because that way you're not disappointed with that lotto ticket. That lotto ticket might, pay you $50 in the payoffs, and then a snake, that lotto ticket that you scratch off that this one might not prove out, is going to pay off for me in the end, because he does a lot more for me. He adds blushing. I like his saddles. He adds a percentage of ear and jaya to other projects I'm working with. And so if he proves out, great. If he doesn't, great. And that's how you got to go into buying these animals, guys. Hopefully I went into enough detail that you guys can grasp this, understand what I'm trying to say. I just hate to see people being mad when something don't work out. It just sucks. I feel bad for the snake. I feel bad for the person. And I understand you bought this animal on not necessarily just a pet level, but you bought this animal on a breeding project that you want to do, and then it don't further your breeding project. That's not on the snake. That's on you. That's you being not a smart buyer, because you bought the animal purely on a hit factor, on a possible hit factor, rather than going on looks and worrying about what it's possibly hit for afterwards. So that's what I'm trying to get to, you guys. So hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I'll go into more details about this in other videos, but this is just a kind of a rough draft video of this topic. Me and my buddy were talking about it today. We've talked about it a lot, and I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys. And just remember, the more layers you put on a boa, the more layers you put on a carpet, the more layers you put on, a ball python, corn snake, stuff like that, the prettier stuff gets. You might go through some stuff that isn't that great, but in the end product, it looks amazing. And you just have to really stick with projects. Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't get frustrated. Keep working at it. And you'll get where you want to be. That's the biggest thing I see people do when they're working with recessives, is they quit because they didn't get the payoff that they thought they would get off. They didn't get the babies that they thought they would get. And they quit too early. And so when you're doing this, if you're going to be a breeder, even if you're just going to be a part-time breeder where you're just doing one breeding, or you do a breeding every once in a while, put forth the efforts. That way that pairing will pay off the way you want it to pair off. And just don't give in, don't quit, keep pushing forward. I know sometimes it can be a little frustrating, especially when you have litters that slug out. You have females that die in mating. You have males that get hemopenises stuck and have to have them amputated. A lot of things can go wrong with breeding. So anytime you're successful at breeding, whether it goes the way you want it to as far as proving everything out or not, be thankful that, hey, you know what, at least that female made it through breeding. That male's okay. The eggs, or if you have, live clutches like boas, they came out, they're alive, they're healthy. And don't go off percentages. You want to go off percentages. What I mean by that is, I see a lot of people, excuse me, I just burped. I see a lot of people look at eggs and they say, oh, I have 8 eggs, I have 1 in 8 chance of hitting this specific gene. Like whether it's granite, jag, azantic, caramel. They're like, I have a 1 in 8, or I have a 1 in 16 chance out of this litter. No, you don't. I mean, you do and you don't. It's not a 1 in 8 chance out of 8 eggs. It's every egg is a 1 in 8 chance, or a 1 in 5th chance, or a 1 in 16 chance. Every egg is that 1%. So sometimes, you might breed something that's an egg layer, okay, that might only have, 5 eggs or 4 eggs or 15 eggs or even 20 eggs. Your chances go up with the percentage of eggs because every egg is a better, it's still a 1 in 8 chance. But the more eggs you have, the better odds. The lower odds, a little harder. That don't mean you can't hit on more. And you can't always go off of just because I breed. I know a guy recently, well, not recently, but maybe it's been 2 seasons ago now. He bred a female sharp albino to a male 100% hit sharp albino, okay? So his odds should have been he should have hit on a ton of sharp stuff. He had, I think, 32 babies. He hit 1 sharp albino. So not all was lost, but it just goes to show you, so the odds can go in your favor or not. And start paying attention to allelic traits and how things work together and how things blend together. There's a lot of great videos out there that talk about allelic traits and how this works with this and how that interweaves with that. And that's something to start paying attention to, and I suggest you read up on that, and that'll make you a better breeder. Anyway, this is a Boxing Bow Disciple. Priest, as always, is in the background doing the camera work. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully I didn't lose you or bore you with this information, but I think it's important information to get out there and for you to start having a discussion with yourself and maybe start looking these things up and starting to get a better grasp of breeding and hits and stuff like that. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Please like, click, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, just please leave them down below, and I will get back to you. Anyway, I'm always having a positive day. You guys have a positive day. Thank you for everything. God bless everyone. You guys have a good day. Peace.